Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about my new game, Piper. I created it based on the aspects of Battleship, and then I extrapolated it to make a new game based on functions and graphing and guessing and using slopes and intercepts. So I hope you guys can enjoy it. I'll start explaining some of the rules, and let's just get into it. So the context of this game is that you and your team are city planners and engineers, and your goal is to find the underground network of pipes underneath the city because there has been some damages to the water lines. So the latest software technology uses lines and intervals, and we need to use that to be able to tell the construction crews where they need to dig to find all of the pipes and then fix them before the other team can find them and gives their business to some other construction team. So now to get started, what we're going to want to do is split up into pairs. So this game is best by 2-on-2 because it gets pretty complex when you have to predict y-intercepts and just think about different slopes. So having a partner to rely on creates some good discussion. So once we do that, each set of partners is going to take a game sheet, fold it at the crease line to hide their functions. And then on the left side, they're going to draw or they're going to graph functions or lines for their pipes. And then they're going to fill out the equations and intervals appropriately for those. And that'll be our prep phase. That'll be the first thing that we do. So now the prep phase is done because I have all my pipe functions and I've placed all my electrical boxes and I have defined all the functions with the intervals. So now that the preparation phase is done, what we're going to want to do is we're going to start guessing. So as a reminder, this game plays a lot like Battleship. So we'll just take turns guessing coordinates. So I would say, oh, I'd like the coordinate 1, 1, and then the opposing team would tell my team that is either a miss, near miss, or hit. Hit means it hits one of the plotted points on the function. A miss just means that in the box around it, like the 3x3, there is no plotted points at all. And a near miss would just say there is at least one of those plotted points in the near vicinity of that point that you just guessed. Now to clear up any confusion regarding misses, near misses, and hits, if we have lines A and B here, if the opposing team were to guess point 1, we would say it's a miss because in the 2x2 grid around it, there's no points on any lines. However, if they guessed coordinate 2 here, we would say near miss because in the 2x2 grid, there's this point on A. And if the opposing team guessed point 3, we would say it's a hit because there's a corresponding point on point A. And one thing that we also want to keep in mind is we only say near miss clues for a point one time. So if I were to guess up here, I would say it's not a near miss to this point because we already guessed coordinate 2. So those are the three different kind of clues that you can give as you go back and forth and guess coordinates. And then from there, if one team gets all of the coordinates on a line, you would say the opposing team, if you were to guess, would say, oh, now you have guessed all of the points on line A. And then from there, you could take a function guess, be like, okay, let me look at this, my plotted points that I've hit, and now I will try to recreate the function, and I will tell them, and if my function is correct, they will tell me both are correct, or if just the interval or the function is incorrect, they will tell me, and then I will try again next turn. Right, last few things before we model the game. To win the game, you just have to find all of the plotted points and get the functions and intervals correctly. First team to do that will be the winner. However, on the last set of turns, which you will see in the model video, once one team finds all of the plotted points and just has one last function to guess, then the other team will have one more turn with a special rule. So each time they get a near miss or a hit, they'll get to guess again. So this is just to ensure that no one can be too far behind and there's always a chance to luck out and catch up at the end. And then in that case, if both of them would get all of the functions correct, then they would play a game of tic-tac-toe to decide the real winner. All right, so now that we got all the rules out of the way, let's see a model game.
3, -3.
Near miss. -4, 2.
Hit on pipe A. 0.4, 1.
Ooh, that is an electrical box, so your turn is done, and now I will get 2 guesses for my next turn. -3, -2.
Hit on ship C.
-1, -4.
Another hit on ship C.
Alright, so now I'm going to use my special move, Overtime Excavation, because I have 2 points, -3, -2, and -1, -4. I think I can predict that there's going to be a point at -2, -3, so I'd like to make a function guess. Is it the function -x minus 5 over the interval from -3 to -1?
That is correct. 3, 4.
That is a miss. -3, 3.
Hit on pipe A.
Pause. Okay, I think you guys kind of get the gist of the game. So we're just going to fast forward the video a little bit and just head to the end so you guys can kind of see how the game will wrap up. 4-4.
That is the last point on pipe D.
Okay, does that mean I have all the pipes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then now it'll be your turn with the special rule. So go ahead and take your turn.
Point 2, 2.
2-2. Nice. That's a hit on ship B. So now you get to guess again.
Point 2, 3.
Also hit in the same pipe. Nice. So now you get another guess. You keep going.
Point 2, 4.
Ooh, that's a miss. So now your turn would be over. So now for my final turn, I'd like to guess the last function. Is it is the equation y equals 4 from the interval 1 to 4 on the x?
Both are correct.
As you can see, I just destroyed my opponent. Just kidding. It was all staged. But anyway, I won that game because I found all of the plotted points on the function and guessed all of the functions and intervals correct on my opponent's functions before he did. And during that last special rule, he was not able to find the rest of my plotted points and guess the functions and intervals correctly, so we didn't have to go to the tie, which would then be decided by a tic-tac-toe game, with the first person, me, going first. So that's kind of how the game would wrap up. There's a couple different variations that you can run with this game too. Is you can center, instead of being centered on the origin, you can have the 8x8 grid be focused somewhere else to force students to extrapolate further about where they think the y interval is. Or you could also, for younger people who are just getting introduced to lines, you could limit the slopes to just whole numbers with negative slopes, or any way you would want to do that. You could also consider adding quadratics, which would get pretty intense. But there's a variety of different things also listed on the game sheet if you want to check that out. It'll be linked with this video, and that'll just give you a bigger picture of what else I didn't talk about. If you have any questions, you might be able to find answers in there. So I just want to say thank you so much for checking out my game. I'd love it if you were able to try it out and just have some fun with your learners, because I think a lot of students are going to love this game, and it's just going to really boost the way that they can think about math, and that it will just really be a treat for you in your classroom. So again, I'm Jacob, the game designer. Thanks for watching my video. Have a great day.